Hey everybody, Jason from MLP Studios, and this is my long overdue review of the My Little Pony Tales of Equestria role-playing game, or a storytelling game as it's titled. Now, I know a lot of my friends are either saying, or they have actually told me, why are you getting My Little Pony? You play hardcore sci-fi, Star Wars, riffs, Robotech, miniature wargaming, horror games like Vampire the Masquerade. Why are you even messing with Tales of Equestria? Well, first and foremost, I am a father. I'm a father of 7. And my 3 youngest ones, I have 2 sons, ages 11 and 9. And my youngest child is my daughter, she's 7, and they love My Little Pony. Okay? So I want to get them into gaming. Now, they're playing D&D, but they love My Little Pony. For my daughter, this is actually an easier way to do it. Now, the way I'm going to review this book, I have pros and I have cons. Not very many cons, believe it or not. But I am approaching this book strictly as for a review, not how I, perceive the game itself or anything like that. Well, maybe just a little bit. You'll see. So anyway, here's the deal. My Little Pony Tales of Equestria is based on the animated series My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. Which, if you haven't checked out, it's actually pretty good. There's some good life lessons in that anime. But just check it out. You don't have to get all into it, but yeah, it's worth watching. Okay, so the game is marketed first and foremost for ages 3 and up. Personally, I would say ages 5 and up because of some of the context in the book. It's easier for a 5-year-old to understand than a 3-year-old. But a 3-year-old could theoretically play it if you are patient enough to explain a lot of these things, gaming concepts to them. Okay, so it's hardcover, obviously. Now, one thing I really liked about it is right here on the back of the back cover. Unlike a lot of RPGs where it just gives you a description, you're going to go into a dungeon, there's evil, blah 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 blah. This rather has the whole what is an RPG right here on the back. So, a little one that picks this up right off the bat, they know what this is about, which is great. As far as designs go, that is great. As you can see, the price tag US is $34.99. And honestly, I think that's a very fair price for this book, considering what's in it. So, right off the bat, let me say, this book is filled with art. And I don't mean like every other page. I mean every page has artwork on it. Every single one. As far as I can tell, most of this artwork, if not all of the artwork, is lifted directly from the animated series. Some of it can be concept art. And some of it may be from the comic books. I'm not entirely sure. But quite possibly it is from the comics as well. But yeah, that's a great thing. All the art is there, is persistent. And the art actually works with what is on this page. Okay, it's relevant to what's going on the page. Unlike a lot of role-playing games where it has a great piece of art, but we're not going to tell you anything about this piece, and it's not even relevant to what we're talking about. We may not even explain it. No, everything in here does relate to what's going on that particular page. Okay, so this game system itself is very simplistic. I'm not going to go too far into it because of time. But yeah, it has the introduction. What's a storytelling game? You pretty much get that on the back cover. Has a nice little section here for older gamers, veteran gamers, or people who've been gaming for a while. Gives you a nice little explanation here. And let me say that the writing in this book is very easy to understand for a 5-year-old. Like I said, I'm not thinking it's good for a 3-year-old, but for a 5-year-old, definitely a 7-year-old like my daughter, she was able to pick this up and really understand the concepts that are being explained. Another great thing is when they explain something, it's not like a lot of other role-playing games where you're going to attack the character and you're going to use your power punch, which is explained in chapter 22, which is like 100 pages later. But yeah, just go with it. No, they actually go through and There's a brief explanation of everything that you're reading as you go. All right, which is really great. This is something that the West End Game Star Wars RPG did very well. Give you a good explanation, then said more details are here. But at least you left this, you're going to leave your page knowing what to expect and a very basic understanding of how it works. And when I say basic, I mean you can pretty much start playing it right then and there. But like I said, the artwork is great. It does give you suggestions for other materials. As far as minis goes, I've had a lot of people ask, and I thought it was kind of surprising, but then again, I got to remember a lot of people who are asking are veteran gamers who probably don't have kids young enough to be into My Little Pony. If you want a mini, these are a selection of miniatures. Now, these aren't specifically marketed as miniatures. These are actually toys. They come in blind bags at any major retail store, Walmart, Target, Toys R Us, Walgreens. They're blind bags. They're like $2.38 US. So you don't know exactly what you're going to get. But I have repainted some of them, and unfortunately I've got them packed away because I am in the middle of a move. But you can repaint them very easily. Basically just give them an alcohol bath for about an hour, wash them off, boom, you're done. You're ready to paint because they are made of a vinyl material, so you can't paint on them straight away. But yeah, there's so many of these figures. It's ridiculous. You may or may not find the one exactly that you like, but chances are you'll find something that you will like. Okay. Another good thing, and let me see if I can find it here. Basically, the attributes creating your character. The font, as you can see, is very large. Again, this is a target audience of ages 3 and up. Okay, but the font is very large. Very clearly explains what everything does. What your stats will be for whatever type of pony you have. For those familiar with the My Little Pony universe, there are 3 main ponies. The Earth Pony, which is just a regular pony. The Unicorn, more or less uses magic. Telekinesis is one of them. And then the Pegasus, or the Pegasi. Flying ponies. Okay? And again, if you're familiar with the game, you know that there are alicorns, which is a combination of Earth, Unicorn, and Pegasus. They're the ones that are unicorns that can fly. And you cannot get one of those off the bat. It gives a pretty decent explanation as to why you can't use one of them, because they are rather powerful creatures. So equipment that you need for the game. And here's another example here. Concept artwork used for the appropriate header here, portrait and cutie mark. It's time to draw your pony in the portrait box of your pony sheet, aka character sheet. Concept art used perfectly. Tokens. You do need tokens for this game. And this is going to be another thing that I really love that Riverhorse did with this game. They tell you, yeah, you know what? We make these things, but you can use anything you want. You don't have to use this. You don't have to buy our products. We just want you to have a fun time playing our game. Really great. I loved how open they are about that, saying, yeah, we make this product, but you can probably get something else and it'll work just fine. Chapter 3, types of ponies. Like I said, it really goes into it. Their powers, Pegasi. I think I skipped the Earth Pony. The note on alicorns right here. It explains it very well. But it tells you right here, in Tales of Equestria, your character cannot be an alicorn. And there is a good reason for it. Trust me, there is. Elements of harmony, traits, how everything works. And again, it's very clearly explained for a younger player. Veteran players might find this very oversimplistic. And believe me, I understand. I've been gaming for over 30 years. I totally understand where you're going to be coming from on that. But yeah, your tests and challenges, difficulties, your difficulty chart. Again, this is very easy. Another thing is, a lot of times you'll be using single dice to be playing. You're going to be using either a D4, D6, D8 or D20 also. Obviously, the 1D4, and it says it right in the book, sucks. That's like going to be your weakest attribute. D20 is the best. For obvious reasons, you're not going to start everything with the D20. You're not going to start anything with the D20. You can, but you're not going to start like that. Like I said, as you can see, there's plenty of artwork in here that is relevant to the game. Now, I believe this part is the adventure that comes with it. Excuse me. Which is included in here, which is great. A starting adventure. All good role-playing games, I believe, should have a starting adventure with the game to introduce everything. The pet predicament. Now, this is going to go into some of the things I don't like. Let me hold off on this. But let me skip back here somewhere in the beginning. I know it's here somewhere. It does have a map of Equestria. This is actually a very nice map. This is everything that has been shown in the animated series as far as I know. I can't say I know everything about the series, even though my daughter and sons have made me watch it endlessly. I don't really pay too much attention to it. Like I said, it's fun. So yeah, you do have a starting map here. So I would say this is the official map of Equestria as of this writing of this book. Covers all the places in here that are shown in the series. I'm sure there's a couple other places. The dragons, of course, they go down here. And then there's Unknown is up here, which, if you want this to go into your D&D world, hey, it's right across the mountains. Just saying. Okay, so one of the things I didn't like about this book, as you know, there's a character here named Spike, this little dragon. Let me see if I find a better picture of him somewhere. But anyway, so there's Spike. They consider him a pet in this role-playing game. I wouldn't consider him a pet. I would actually consider him an actual character. And I'm rather disappointed that they don't really follow up on the pets in here. How to get pets or other races as characters. It's kind of touched on, but not really. Now, we do have access to and here's some other stuff here. Ponies and other creatures. Not really telling you how to play them, but you can kind of do that. But yeah, there's a lack of real GM, Game Master material in this book. I'm not sure if it's because they ran out of space or they wanted to keep the content low to keep the price down. I mean, for veteran gamers, yeah, you can figure out pretty easily how to run this game. Even for novice gamers, you can figure out how to run this game. But there's not a lot of GM tools in it, which is kind of disappointing. And it does have stats, as you can see, for the main characters of the series. Typical ponies, typical Pegasi, typical other ponies. Timberwolves, Diamond Dogs, those should be a player race. The Mohawks should be a player race. Zakora, she's a character. Ursa Minor just kind of shows up. The Timberwolf. Kind of weird how I know all this stuff. But yeah. That's it. This should be a player race. This should be a player race. Not so much anything else that's presented in this book, but this is the first book, and we do have access to the GM supplement, which is the Curse of the Statuettes, which comes with the dice set for it. Other stuff. Okay. This is something that I really like about this game that I have not seen in any other role-playing game. All right. Most of them assume that you have role-playing dice. Now, granted, a lot of 6-7-year-olds aren't going to have role-playing dice unless their parents have one, or their big brother, sister, or their friend. Okay, if you don't have dice, this book actually provides you dice charts. D4, D6. I think I may have misspoke earlier when I said the type of dice you need for the game. But yeah, you need a D4, a D6, a D12, and a D20. So why do you have these dice charts? What do they mean? Well, very simply put, if you don't have any dice, you need to make a roll. Close your eyes, get your finger, point, boom. There's your dice roll right there. I rolled a 2 on a D12. This is great for kids. This is great for any role-playing game, to be honest with you. Again, veteran gamers, we've been gaming for a while, so we have loads and loads of dice in our purple bags from a certain liqueur. But for younger kids, just getting on a role-playing, this is actually a very invaluable tool. I really like it. I'm really surprised by it. Okay. Let's see what else is here. Of course, it's got the required index. If your role-playing game does not have an index, you've lost points with me. This one thankfully does. Very clear to read, does go to everything exactly that I'm looking for. And of course, there's more here. The Curse of the Statuette, which we do have. I have not read it to review it, so I can't give you a review of it. I'm hoping that it does have more GM material in there. The Tokens of Friendship. Let's be honest. If you're getting this, you're probably getting it for the little bag, not for these little pieces of plastic, which you can get at pretty much any gaming store, probably a little bit cheaper. I'm not sure. I have not seen this available yet. The RPG dice, again, you're probably going to get it for the tin. It's probably something really good for the little ones, get them in there. Your pony sheet pad, which is your character sheet. Do you really need it? Not necessarily. You can write this up pretty easily. And then the expansion books. I am looking forward to looking at the Bestiary of Equestria, just to see what else is in there. From my understanding, it should have more information about pets or using other types of creatures in the world of My Little Pony to play. And this is your pony sheet, your character sheet. Not much to it. Now, if you're looking for a game that's all full of adventure, hack and slash, things that are typical of the classic D&D type game setting, this is not the game for you. It is not. I'm telling you that right now. It's not. This game is all about creating friendship and having fun. Because your characters do not die in this game. It says very clearly. I got to remember where it is. But anyway, your characters do not die. If they get hit points down below 0, they are passed out. They're knocked out. That's it. They're not dead. Which again, got to remember the age that this game is geared towards. 3 and up. You don't want your kids to be playing a role-playing game where their characters die. I'm sorry, you really don't. You don't want your child upset. So they just get knocked out. Of course, when your child gets older, and they understand the concept that, hey, this is not really, really real, fantasy role-playing game where they have a better grasp of those type of things, then get them into the D&D type stuff where your characters die. But for this, no, your characters do not die. Okay? Just really clear about that. But yeah, this is honestly one of my favorite role-playing games. Can it easily be broken? Oh yeah. My cousin Kevin has told me quite a bit of how him and his group have broken this game. But again, this is marketed for younger gamers and is meant to have fun and laughs, not hack and slash. You can do that very easily. I've already come up with a way to do it very, very easily. But this is for kids. So if you want something very lighthearted, something that you can get younger players into role-playing games, something for your kids, and they like My Little Pony, this is a win-win. I honestly highly recommend this for younger gamers, and even for veteran gamers, if you just want to do something for fun, this is a game you want to look into. I know this is really close to Christmas. Hopefully, you can get your hands on it if you were interested in it. Like I said, I highly recommend it. It's fun. It really is fun. After about 4 or 5 sessions with my little ones, they keep asking, hey, when can we play more? When can we play more? Unfortunately, like I said, I've got a move to do. I have to move into a new home. But yeah, this game is really good. It is really good, really well thought out. I really wish more RPGs took an approach like this as far as how they explain everything right then and there. You know, I honestly hate that whole thing of, in order to do this move, you have to do this. We'll explain this part 100 pages later in chapter 40. I hate that. I love how games, like I said, the West End game, Star Wars role-playing game, it's a great example of how things were, they told you one thing here, they explained it right here, then they said for further details, you're going to go over here. But in this part right here, you understood what you were going to do, what the actual mechanic was. So yeah, highly recommend it, guys. Let me know your thoughts if you have it, if you're thinking about getting it. I'd love to hear what you think. Let me hear some of your adventures. I hope this helps, help you get a better decision on whether or not you want to get this game. If you have any questions, hit me up, guys. I'm available all the time. Well, I will be for a couple more days until I start moving tomorrow. All right, everybody, have a good, safe, happy holidays. Talk to you later.